Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. You're very welcome to today's webinar. So the topic I'm going to be covering today is Reveal Hidden Network Issues with Network Traffic Analysis Plus. So to introduce myself, my name is Greg Collins and I'm the Product Marketing Manager here at Progress WhatsUp Gold. Later on in the presentation, I'll be introducing my colleague Frank Cotto, who is a Principal Solutions Architect at Progress. And Frank will be going through the demo of the new WhatsUp Gold Network Traffic Analysis Plus functionality, as well as answering any questions you may have throughout the presentation. So before we start, I just want to give you an overview of some quick webinar housekeeping. If you can't hear us, try connecting to computer audio, not phone audio. If you have any questions, please submit them in the questions panel on the right-hand side of your screen. We do have some time allotted at the end to answer any and all questions. And then finally, this session will be recorded and distributed after, so there's no need to record it yourself. So with that out of the way, I'll kick off today's session with a brief rundown of the agenda. So I will be giving an overview of what network traffic analysis is as a concept, why it's important or why you should care about it, and then I'll give you a quick introduction to our new NTA Plus or Network Traffic Analysis Plus functionality, going over the benefits, how it's licensed, etc. I'm going to keep that fairly brief as I'll then be passing the floor across to my colleague Frank, who will give a demonstration of the NTA Plus feature, followed by a Q&A session. So what is network traffic analysis? Well, network traffic analysis, or NTA, is a method of monitoring network usage and performance to identify anomalies. The first point I want to touch on is performance optimization. It allows you to monitor network traffic for security threats and network issues like slow download speeds or throughput. So monitoring tools track, record, and analyze network traffic patterns and compare them with established benchmarks to identify discrepancies. So to put this simply, it can identify who or what is using up network bandwidth. It collects network traffic data like flow and packet data and extracts useful metadata like IP addresses, ports, traffic protocols, or volume to give administrators increased visibility. So the next point around threat detection, NTA has security benefits also. So data breaches or DDoS attacks can be detected by abnormal traffic that should not be on the network or an unusually high amount of traffic. So flagging these abnormal traffic conditions helps administrators to take action before it's too late. And then finally, on capacity planning, another benefit of NTA is how it can help from this side. Historical data, when combined with knowledge of upcoming organizational changes, allows you to forecast future requirements. So, for example, if your company is streaming a company-wide all hands from the headquarters, you can anticipate the additional bandwidth needed and upgrade your network accordingly. This can help to prevent needless bandwidth issues on your network. So now that we know what network traffic analysis is, the next question is, why should we care about it? Well, there are plenty of valid reasons to care about it, but for this session, I'm going to highlight three in particular. We have security, visibility, and reporting. So from a security perspective, it's important to know when unusual activity is happening on your network. If traffic suddenly spikes or is coming from a suspicious source, it's important to go ahead and investigate that. Now, there could be a number of reasons for something like this happening. It could be entirely unintentional where bandwidth is being hogged by, say, streaming or gaming, but then there also is that other scenario where it could be somebody has malicious intent. Although some of these examples are more serious than others, all of the above could cause harm from an operational or security perspective. And one of the main benefits of having a network traffic analysis tool in place is that you don't have to be actively monitoring and looking at the traffic. You can be notified on when it's happening and then act accordingly. So the next point of visibility goes hand in hand with this. Many organizations have users and devices across many different locations. It becomes near impossible for network administrators to maintain effective network visibility. So by having a single source of truth for your network environment, it saves a huge amount of time and stress for administrators. Your team can easily gain visibility on previously unmonitored network communications across the whole company. And this makes troubleshooting a lot easier and also prevents blind spots within your network. And finally, reporting. So we all know that monthly ISP bandwidth charges are expensive, so you don't want to be adding more bandwidth unless you absolutely need to. Network traffic analysis tools lets you drill down to identify the sources and destination of your internet traffic, as well as the applications consuming internet bandwidth. So in this way, you can ensure that your business critical web applications are getting the bandwidth that they actually need. And network traffic analysis tools also help to create reports on savings and efficiencies. So that's another great reason to opt for such a tool. So where does WhatsUp Gold fit into the equation? Well, we recently released a new feature called Network Traffic Analysis Plus, or NTA Plus, which is designed specifically to help administrators monitor bandwidth consumption and network traffic. So from a licensing perspective, NTA Plus is part of the Enterprise Plus subscription tier, along with other great functionality like configuration management, internet connection monitoring, and much more. The first point I want to touch on is the ability to see your top senders and receivers. There are built-in troubleshooting reports in the NTA Plus functionality. You can see the network traffic information on a per device basis. So what are the interface's top conversations? What entities is it talking to? What are the top applications for that particular device? All meaningful flow information can be seen at a glance on the homepage, as Frank will show in the demo later on. Thresholds can be set on the network traffic information. You have the ability to create a wide variety of thresholds. So for example, you can create a policy to get notified if any host in the environment is flooding the network with traffic, or you can create your own threshold to ensure that the bandwidth is being used for critical business applications as opposed to users streaming things like Spotify or Netflix. The next point is around scheduling of reports. So there are a number of built-in troubleshooting reports. These reports can generate Excel spreadsheets and other file types on demand, or you can even schedule them to be sent via email on a regular basis. And then finally, root cause analysis. So NTA Plus gives you a graphical representation that allows you to drill down into an issue and determine the root cause. I want to quickly dive into how IT infrastructure monitoring or ITIM solutions like Progress WhatsUp Gold provide a must-have dashboard to help NetOps professionals understand the health, uptime status, and utilization of IT assets like servers or network components. So oftentimes users can experience poor performance that can only be diagnosed by analyzing the IP traffic that flows across the network, which is not reflected in the WhatsUp Gold dashboard. So this is where the NTA Plus add-on comes in. So with NTA Plus, you can analyze the bandwidth consumption to provide deeper visibility, new troubleshooting features, and performance monitoring capabilities. So by having the ability to drill down into a moment of time to determine who or what is consuming the bandwidth, it allows you to easier identify the root cause of the issue. Here are some common value props associated with network observability. So first up, we have decreased reaction time. Investigations or root cause analysis times are cut thanks to the extended visibility into network traffic. So if you imagine you encounter an issue, but the IT infrastructure monitoring solution you're using doesn't provide you with enough depth. Meanwhile, management are on your case and they want answers right now and you're under a lot of pressure. The question is, where do you even start? Is it network? Is it server? Manual root cause analysis can take hours or even days. And this actually reminds me of a customer issue we saw recently. The main ERP server was showing long response times regarding all their operations. The ERP system manufacturer tried to optimize the system for over 14 days. Well, application of NTA Plus led to a finding that a wrongly configured firewall constantly loads the ERP server with unnecessary queries. The performance issue was then removed through a simple firewall configuration adjustment, and this could have been resolved much easier and much quicker if they had visibility into their network traffic from the get-go. Next up is the reduction of the number of tools. So we know that an average IT team has maybe 20 to 40 different tools and systems they're working with, and turning from one tool to another takes away valuable time. Well, with NTA Plus, you're consolidating powerful network traffic analysis with your IT infrastructure monitoring solution. So NTA Plus has availability, capacity, troubleshooting, compliance, and forensics, and it's all under one hood without switching between UIs. Next up is automate analytics. So autonomous investigation of the root cause of operational issues saves hours or days. We also have the lowering of operating costs of network and application infrastructure with enough trends forecasting for smooth future scaling. And then finally, the ability to end the blame game between departments by showing them proof of responsibility. So before I hand it over to Frank for the demo, I want to mention a resource we've been heavily focusing on recently, and that's the WhatsUp Gold YouTube channel. So we are uploading weekly free educational videos on topics such as troubleshooting certain issues you may be having, how-to videos, quick tip videos, and even longer form webinars like this very one, which will be posted there upon completion. It's a great way to learn the basics of WhatsUp Gold, and we highly recommend it for new and old users. And if anyone in the audience today has any suggestions for new content, please let us know and we can get some videos made on that. So with that all completed, I'm going to hand it across to my colleague Frank now, who's going to give a demonstration of the NTA Plus features and functionality. So Frank, I'm going to hand it across to you. So the floor is yours.
Thanks, Greg. All right. Before we dive into the demo, I want to review the Progress WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus architecture with you. Across the top of your screen are a few examples of network devices that can generate and export flow. Flow in varying formats such as NetFlow v5, v9, IPFix, SFlow, and JFlow are exported and sent to the WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus collector. The WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus collector, deployable in VMware, Hyper-V, KVM, AWS, Azure, or in Google Cloud, is where your flow is stored and where you will analyze traffic, define custom alerting, define dashboards, generate reports, and more. WhatsUp Gold provides a centralized UI experience populating essential charts and graphs from the flows processed by the NTA Plus collector via an integration between the two appliances. In addition, WhatsUp Gold customers can elect to acquire Progress Flowmon probes in order to generate enriched flows containing application insights and calculated network performance metrics such as round-trip time, server response time, retransmissions, and jitter. Now let's have a look at how you can leverage WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus to identify anomalous network traffic and investigate who or what the source of that anomalous network traffic is. Here is the WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus dashboard, where I have added a few charts to highlight bandwidth utilization, packets per second, and flows per second. These charts are populated with statistics representing the flows stored and analyzed on the WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus collector. As such, you are able to filter here on the various sources of flow. Having a look at the traffic chart, we can see a bandwidth traffic spike from the source QA-CAT9300 to around 111 megabits per second. Let's shift to the WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus collector now to investigate who or what is responsible for this spike in traffic. Within the WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus collector's monitoring center module, you can switch to the source in question as we did in the WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus dashboard. Identifying the spike in the collector's graph, we then run an analysis of the top 10 statistics by conversation and adjust the analysis to sort by bits per second. We can now see that the private IPs 10.40.71.180 and .190 have consumed the bulk of the throughput when compared to the other conversations highlighted in the top 10. Copying their IP addresses to the filter window and adding a bit of logic, we will dig into the list of flows representative of their traffic, making sure to sort on bits per second. We can now confirm that the traffic generated by 10.40.71.180 and .190 is HTTPS traffic, and given the source port of 443 and the client destination port, we know that they were downloading data from the public IP 13.107.5.175 and from GitHub. Switching back to the WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus dashboard, let's have a look at our packets transferred graph, where we see a trending packets transferred peak at around 13,000 packets per second. That seems to be occurring in 10-minute intervals at varying points. Let's try and figure out via the WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus collector what IPs are causing these peaks. After switching to the source in question, we switch the graph to a packets per second analysis, identifying the peaks seen in the WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus dashboard. Let's take a look at the top IP conversations for the last spike. We can easily identify the conversation responsible for the large amount of packets transferred as compared to the rest of the conversations in the top 10 output. Copying one of the IPs in question to the filter window and ensuring that we are sorting on packets per second, we run the analysis and can now see the ports being leveraged for the packet transfer and other key details like packets per second, bytes transferred, bits per second, and bytes per packet. Let's have a look at some additional insights and capabilities of the WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus collector. Each NTA Plus collector is not limited by the number of flow sources, but rather by storage capacity. That said, we select the collector size for you based on the goal of 30 days of historical retention, according to the number of devices supported by your WhatsUp Gold license. The NTA Plus collector provides dashboarding, reporting, customizable alerting, and as you have seen, the ability to drill down and identify the root cause of your network issues. I've created a custom dashboard to highlight a number of different charts and graphs that can prove pivotal in understanding your network traffic. Here's a historical trends chart focused on a specific source, providing insights into how current bandwidth utilization compares to utilization 1, 2, and 3 weeks ago. This helps us to understand how usage requirements are changing, giving network admins the insights needed to make network expansion decisions. Active devices and time are visible at a glance alongside previously defined alerts that tell us when network anomalies are occurring. A structure of all traffic, analyzing the traffic flows of all of the sources feeding the WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus collector, enables admins to compare and contrast traffic between sites, devices, subnets, protocols, and more. The top conversations chart provides easy access to the top conversations in your network, as well as the ports they are communicating over and network utilization metrics like bytes transferred and bits per second. An analysis of top endpoints tells who your network users are communicating with, while an analysis of top interfaces provides a granular look into usage of a source's interfaces or VLANs. Want to know which network services are consuming your network's bandwidth? Easily produce these insights with a top 10 analysis of network services over TCP versus UDP. Geolocation capabilities enables us to determine how much of the network's traffic is local east to west traffic versus north to south traffic, and with which countries users are communicating. This is just a taste of the dashboard customizations that are possible, and all of the details seen are available in customizable reports. These reports can be downloaded as a PDF as well as sent out on a schedule via email so that all of your network admins and engineers can maintain a regular pulse on the state of your network. See something in a dashboard or in a report that piques your interest? Click on the magnifying glass to investigate in Monitoring Center. Bandwidth consumption topologies are also available, whether visualizing pipes between geographically dispersed data centers or analyzing bandwidth consumption between networks and devices within your network. Drilling down to determine which communications are consuming a link's available bandwidth is as quick and easy as I outlined previously. WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus enables network operations to place a magnifying glass over their networks that powers their ability to gain critical insights quickly in pursuit of preserving optimal user experience. That concludes our demo of WhatsUp Gold.
Great. Thanks a lot, Frank, for that insightful demo of NTA Plus. So we have a few questions that have come in. I'll go ahead and answer the first one here as it's related to my section of the presentation. So the question was, how do I add on NTA Plus to WhatsUp Gold? Well, NTA Plus is not an add-on per se, but it is part of the functionality of the Enterprise Plus subscription package. So if you aren't already on a subscription tier, you don't have to worry. It's a seamless transition from both the perpetual offerings and other subscription tiers to get to the Enterprise Plus level and access NTA Plus. So what I'd recommend is if you want more detail about everything that's included in the subscription tiers, including Enterprise Plus, you can find more details about the offering at whatsupgold.com/pricing. Frank, I'll hand it back to you to answer any other questions that have come in. I see there's a few, so it's all yours.
Sure. Thank you, Greg. All right. So we have some questions around IP fix enhancements. So essentially, does the NTA Plus collector, it looks like the question is supports some vendor proprietary IP fix fields. And the answer is yes. We do have a number of different IP fix fields that are supported in the NTA Plus collector from the likes of Cisco, Gigamon, VMware, Ixia, as well as I believe OneAccess. So yes, the full suite of IP fix fields are supported in the NTA Plus collector. There's a question here around AI-based features, and this is a fantastic kind of question to kind of focus in on, predominantly because of Progress's focus in building an AI functionality. So the NTA Plus collector, from an analysis perspective, has a level of AI for alerting and learning to the extent of what is going on in the environment and being alerted into any anomalies that are occurring, as well as the ability to leverage the solution for anomalous activity around the transfer of data, for example, and so on and so forth. Now, there's additional AI features coming down the line where that, you saw in the demo here, the historical context of analyzing bandwidth usage. We're going to be leveraging some of that technology and intelligence in order to provide you with scopes of what will go on in the future, right? So historically, this is how things are going. This is the point in which you're going to really need to expand your network, so on and so forth. I think that's it, Greg. Do you see anything else that I've missed?
No, I can see a few questions here. Can you share out the slide deck shown today? Yes, so this video will be sent to everybody in attendance, and I can also, if you put your email address in the question box, I can also send it across.
I'm seeing quite a bit more jump in here now. Okay, sorry about that. Let me comb through a few here. So quick questions around, does the NTA Plus support or utilize APIs? So the NTA Plus collector and WhatsUp Gold console are integrated by way of API, as well as the NTA Plus collector can be queried by via API against any of the network insights and performance metrics that we discussed. Some questions around NTA Plus being added to the free version. Correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, but I believe the answer to that is no.
Correct, yeah. For the time being, anyway, I'll need to speak to the product team just to double check on that. Also, Frank, sorry to jump in. I do see a few questions here, and I would love to see it over on the perpetual licenses. Would this be possible? So as it stands right now, I mentioned it there earlier on, it is part of the Enterprise Plus subscription tier, and that's the only way to access it right now. So I do have a few other questions on how is it priced. So again, if you go to the pricing page, you'll be able to see all the details about the pricing of the Enterprise Plus subscription tier. I don't have it off the top of my head.
So this is a good question around how it's deployed, right? So the NTA Plus collector is indeed a separate appliance. It is deployable as a virtual instance on-prem or in the cloud. So thank you for that question. See if I missed anything else. Sorry, I just want to get everybody covered.
I see a question here, Frank. Sorry to jump in. I see if I request the demo, any clue how long it's active for? So the demo is a 30-day demo or a 30-day trial at the moment. So if you go to whatsupgold.com/trial, you'll be able to download there.
Sure. Yes. Okay, so there's a question here around probe placement because I did highlight the ability to deploy additional probes of our Flowmon product set to feed the NTA Plus collector with network performance metrics. And the question here indicates or is asking around whether probes can be deployed at remote sites. The answer is absolutely, they can. The requirement would be to have some level of interconnectivity between your sites so that the probes, the flow data that the probes generate can then be sent to the NTA Plus collector. Now, in the same sense, devices that are distributed across your sites that can generate flow and send across your sites can also send flows to the NTA Plus collector, and I'm referring to, of course, routers, switches, firewalls. But yes, a Flowmon probe can be deployed remotely and then feed flows to the NTA Plus collector that is completely supported. How Huawei cloud switches, right? So we do not, the question here is whether or not their NTA flow or rather net flow from Huawei cloud switches is supported. The answer is yes. If you're sending flow in any of the native formats, right? NetFlow v5, v9, SFlow, JFlow, IPFix, it is supported. What's the main difference between NTA Plus and a bandwidth monitoring tool? Okay, so the way that I would answer that question is far more capability and functionality, right? So the NTA Plus collector does not just only give insights into bandwidth utilization, of course, correlating that to pipe sizes, correlating that to what it looks like from source to source, but enables you to drill down into source and destination communications, port protocol, bandwidth or rather throughput capabilities, right? Bits per second, bytes per second, packets per second, and a number of additional metrics. When you add on the probe capabilities, right, for calculation network performance metrics, you're also going to be able to see round trip time, server response time, jitter, delay, so on and so forth. So hope that answered your question there. Do we need 2 installations? Yes, again, WUG is already pre-deployed, of course. The deployment of the NTA Plus collector is required. And I will say, so I did highlight this at a point in the demo. So there's a question around how license cost is determined. What it comes down to is there's a predefined size of the NTA Plus collector allocated to your license based on the amount of devices that you are licensed for WhatsUp Gold to cover. Right, so there's varying sizes of the collector. Again, we determine that size based on the number of devices that you're licensed for on WhatsUp Gold. See a lot of questions around the slides. We will be sending those out after the webinar, so just want to reiterate that. Active Directory. Yes, Active Directory integration is supported. LDAP, LDAP-S, and TAC ACS for the NTA Plus collector is available today. Okay. The NTA Plus, so agentless versus agent-based, great question. This is completely agentless and out of band, right? The NTA Plus collector does not speak to any devices in your network. It is solely fed with flows from your environment and leverages that for the insights. Great question. Okay, so a great question on and this may allude to the point, right? So there's a question around network security, NDR, anomaly detection, right? So today, the NTA Plus collector does not include the anomaly detection system software. And as many have kind of highlighted and mentioned, right, the similarity to our Flowmon product. Let me just highlight and speak to that just for a moment, right? The WhatsUp Gold and WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus collector is within the same organizational unit, which is Progress Infrastructure Management Operations Business Unit that Flowmon is in. And so you have seen and will see continued integration between these product sets, right? In aim of providing our customers with a synergized experience, right? Single pane of glass kind of insights and things of that sort. So to answer that question on security, the NDR anomaly detection system component is reserved for Flowmon and will need to be licensed as separate if the use case is for network detection response. That said, as I mentioned, Flowmon is directly integrated into WhatsUp Gold as well as the NTA Plus collector is, and so that you can see visualizations in WhatsUp Gold of the Flowmon dashboards and reports, whether that be for network performance or anomaly detection. So thank you for that question. Is this database visible within WhatsUp Gold itself, or do you need the NTA Plus interface? Great question, right? So first off, right, WUG NTA, right, or rather NTA Plus here, enables the additional deployment of the NTA Plus collector. However, as shown at the beginning of the demo, you can visualize all of the statistical data in the WhatsUp Gold platform, as you may be used to, right, where that you can drill down into different components that are essentially calculating and ingesting data from the NTA Plus collector. All right, I think that is it. And if I did miss one of your questions, I apologize. There was quite a few that came in here. Please feel free to reach out to us, right? We are here for you and want to answer any questions and have conversations around how we can meet your needs. So please do reach out. Oh, sorry. One last question here. This is a great one. This is an important one to highlight. Is full Microsoft SQL needed? The answer is no, right? So the WhatsUp Gold NTA Plus collector is your source of, or rather your destination of flow, whereas previously you would send flow to WhatsUp Gold, you now send it to the NTA Plus collector's IP. It is stored locally on that machine and has built-in database functionality, so no Microsoft SQL is not required. Great question. All right, now I'll actually stop there. Greg, I apologize.
No problem at all. Thanks everyone for all the questions. Again, I will be following up with the deck as well as the video being sent out. So if anybody has any further questions that weren't answered, you can email me directly at greg.collins@progress.com. And Frank, I don't know your email off by heart, but you have a direct email?
Yeah. Sure, frank.cotto, COTTO, @progress.com.
Perfect. Well, that's great. Thank you everybody for attending the webinar today, and I hope you have a lovely day. Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.